condition nicknamed COVID toes, and some doctors think it could be the sign of an asymptomatic child patient. Back with us now is Dr. Amy Powler on the phone. Doctor, so glad you're back with us. Can you explain what this is all about?
Yes, we're seeing large numbers, particularly of teenagers and young adults, who are having toes that may be one toe, sometimes all the toes, often on the top of the toes, sometimes with lesions on the bottom of the toes that can be bright red and can evolve into a purplish color, sometimes itchy, oftentimes painful. And these are individuals who are often without any other signs of viral infection, sometimes with some upper respiratory infections, sometimes just with fatigue. And we just don't know what's going on, but we're seeing this in unprecedented numbers during a COVID pandemic. So we have to think that there might be a relationship.
So you're trying to figure out if there's an exact nexus to all of this, but from what we understand, what you tell us, there's a lack of testing in order for you to actually prove this point or this condition.
That's right. I mean, this is a time when we really need to save resources, and we can't be sending people who don't have the classic signs of the COVID-19 infection for that kind of testing for the virus. There have been some children who've tested positive. There have been some children who've tested negative, but most who have this have not had any testing at all, and we're waiting for antibody testing to come out and be reliable and to be plentiful to be able to further answer the question of the relationship with COVID-19.
So as a parent, what would be my concern here? Is this serious stuff or not necessarily so? Just part of a bigger piece of what's going on here?
Well, again, most of these individuals are either without any signs of a virus infection or signs that really haven't been the serious signs of COVID-19. So I think largely it's just either noticing it, take some pictures. That would be a great way to document and mention it at some point, but not urgently, to the pediatrician when that antibody testing is available.
So I'm curious, why does it manifest itself in the extremities, in the hands and the toes? Any idea about that?
We don't really know exactly what's happening here, but it's very much like a condition we call pernio, which we usually see in cold weather, peak times, January, for example, when after exposure to the cold, we see this discoloration, sometimes these little painful bumps. And we know that this relates to the blood vessels. And, of course, those are the smallest blood vessels. We think there may be something going on where there might be some tiny clotting-type process going on, nothing we're worried about. None of these teens or young adults have gone on to have any serious issues. They seem to resolve after a few weeks, but we'll have to find out more as this progresses.
About 15, 20 seconds later left. Your final thought, when in doubt, consult your pediatrician?
When in doubt, consult the pediatrician, but we don't want to see a mass of people demanding testing for COVID-19 right now when resources are sparse. So let's just, everybody take a deep breath with this, look at it, take a picture, and we'll see down the road.
Sounds good. Dr. Amy Powler, we thank you so much for your time from the Northwestern Feinberg School of Medicine. You take care.
Possible sign of COVID-19 could be in your socks. Medical professionals created a registry to document skin conditions among coronavirus patients. About half of them have what's been dubbed COVID toes. It's purple coloring and inflammation of the skin. It looks similar to frostbite.
We have had some very sick patients who have developed this, but they tended to develop this at the same time as those other symptoms. So I don't want people to panic that if they see these toes, that it means that something really bad is coming.
Dr. Esther Freeman says the reaction could have other triggers like spending time outside when it's cold or lupus. But if you can't think of any other reason as to why your toes are turning purple, she says, call your doctor. Some patients have shown no other symptoms and tested positive for COVID-19.
And that to me, I think is particularly concerning just because that's the group of patients that might not realize that they're putting other family members at risk.
Dr. Freeman says there are 3 other main skin conditions among coronavirus patients: a measles-like rash, hives, and a net-like pattern on the legs. Those are also common in other viruses, but the purple toes do appear to be unique to COVID-19. Dr. Freeman says mostly young adults and kids have seen this. It's also important to note right now that doctors really don't know officially if the virus is causing what's being considered COVID toes.
A refresh for dry hair. Months after COVID-19 appeared on the world stage, doctors are still making discoveries about the deadly disease.
In the beginning, we all knew that it was affecting the lungs, but now we're seeing patients who have their hearts being damaged, their kidneys being damaged.
And now it appears the largest organ on the body can also be affected, the skin. The American Academy of Dermatology has issued guidance regarding several different types of rashes that have been connected with COVID-19. The symptoms range from hives to conditions that look like measles, chickenpox, and frostbite.
A lot of the information that we're getting is from reports from other countries as of now, but we are starting to see a lot of those manifestations here in the U.S. as well.
Dr. Jennifer Choi, an associate professor of dermatology at Northwestern Medicine, says about 20% of COVID-19 patients in Italy reported rashes, some presenting with frostbite-like blisters on their feet called COVID toe.
They're primarily in young adults, adolescents, even children who are otherwise asymptomatic. So these patients may actually have no other symptoms like fever or cough.
Dr. Choi emphasizes the rashes themselves are not contagious. They're simply reflecting inflammation in the body and will heal in a few days.
Yeah, so I try to follow as much as I can what it looks like on the ground. So at the beginning of this, we were saying it was cough, fever, shortness of breath. We've now seen a lot of anosmia, difficulty smelling, loss of smell.
Medical experts say this potentially new symptom underscores the need for more testing to see who has been affected and who could possibly be developing antibodies to COVID-19.
Doctors are raising concerns as they see a growing number of patients with skin problems, calling it COVID toes. It's a frostbite-like rash on the skin. ABC News chief medical correspondent Dr. Jennifer Ashton shares what some patients are seeing.
You can see everything from bruising to discoloration, ulceration, rashes, hives. The list goes on and on. You can see in some cases a net-like pattern that typically affects the trunk. In the toes or fingers, you could see things that almost look like frostbite. Sometimes there's a change in the skin texture. Sometimes this is associated with discomfort or pain.
Dr. Ashton says if you see anything like this on your body, take pictures and reach out to your dermatologist. If you have any other COVID-19-like symptoms such as a fever, dry cough, or muscle pain, seek medical attention.